Welcome back, guys. It's Kibla Ahmed Art here on the Brothers Geek Out podcast. It's the passion session. Oh, mate, you know what? That sounds a bit romantic, but I'm here with ViggaV. ViggaV, oh my God, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast,
people.
Dude.
Thank you for having me, brother.
No,
Pleasure.
you're welcome. You're
Pleasure.
welcome. As I was saying before, we've been doing this podcast for the listeners to try and motivate them, inspire them when it comes to any kind of form of work and things like that. And you was a client of mine, and then following your work, I was like, right, he does a whole load of work. You've got your YouTube channel, you do the music, and then you're into comic books, and I'm like, oh man, this is perfect. So I was like, let me get this guy on the show, man. Tell the listeners a little bit about you, bro.
Yeah, obviously I'm ViggaV. I'm a massive nerd deep down. Don't let the looks fool you. I've always been a big fan of grime, so I do grime here and there. And I've got a single out with Fuming, who was on the hit Pow, so everyone knows about Pow. He's on it. So I always love grime, but took a long break out of grime just due to work. And again, like I was talking to you about, it's that balance. You have to try make sure you got some bread in your account to do stuff, because everything you're working on, you have to put in before you can get anything back out of it. So especially at that level I am, I'm just putting in a lot of investments and time into stuff, and then the dividends will pay itself back over time. But the thing is, you just love what you're doing. I love the music, and done the YouTube channel, ViggaVTV, check me out.
Yes,
merchandise.
Guys, link is in the description. Make sure you check it out. Go subscribe.
You know, how long you been doing that? Only it's actually turned up to a year. I think 2 days ago was a year. Yeah.
Nice. And I love the dynamics on the show, and having your best friends there as well with you. It must be a blast when you're doing these shows.
It's amazing because you got the shits and giggles, but like with my show, it's called a Pipe Bomb Session Show. So ViggaVTV is the platform, but it's called a Pipe Bomb Session Show where we discuss stuff people don't want to discuss. I call it, it's a show for the people, by the people. Yeah. So every week, every 3 weeks, I'll get someone random to come on as a guest. Cool. With me, myself, Mike as a co-host, Atkins as a co-host, and a random guest to come on, and we'll discuss anything really. You know, the stuff that you probably don't discuss in the group chats. That's the kind of that's the best way to put it.
No, it's true, and I feel like because your last episode was touching, it was emotional, it was something that happens on a day-to-day level, and I think it's a great message that you push out there. So guys, make sure you guys go subscribe to the channel. He's got great topics on there as well, so make sure you check that out. But the other reason was, as I was saying, yes, you were a client, and we jumped in, and you showed me some of the artwork that you've already had done, and I was like, oh my God, this guy loves comic books and all things nerdy. So it was a perfect fit to get on the show, and with the listeners we have at the moment, it's great to get somebody else's opinion on some of the stuff that we love, and then work ethics as well. There was another thing pointing into work ethics, but I'm going to start off with one little question, bro. What was your first experience with comic books, whether it was a comic book, movie, or if it's a cartoon show? Which one was your first one?
I remember. I don't remember the first Captain America film, and I think I must have been like 8 or 9, and I was mesmerized. I was like, the Red Skull was all doled down, and obviously you had the little old school Captain American suit. And then I was fascinated with the whole costumes and like being a superhero. And then it developed onto the Michael Keaton era. Hence the reason you done the picture of Batman. And that's the first intake of Batman I had on a kind of cinematic level. I was like, oh God, it's amazing. Like, the rubbery suit, the Batmobile, the fighting, everything, And like, I grew up on obviously Judge Dredd. I've just always been into comics and into like the superhero stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. Michael Keaton is still my favorite Batman.
You think really?
Yeah, for me, like we've got like great, like it's because it's the different eras, isn't it?
Yeah.
And because I'm an 80s baby, I've always stuck with the 80s stuff. And as much as I love Ben Affleck, and I think Christian Bale is probably one of the greatest ones.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, he is one of the greatest ones. But I still got this
strange one.
Yeah.
A strange one. I think he was the greatest Batman in terms of acting skills and portraying the voice vocally. Yeah. But I think the best Batman in terms of looks wise, in terms of I think this is Batman is going to be Ben Affleck.
Oh, without a doubt.
It sounds so crazy.
Without a doubt, because I remember when I first saw that trailer and they introduced him and he was in the suit, and I was like, hold up, shit, did this guy put weight on? Like, he pumped some serious weights to fill that suit up. I know they do the extras, but it's like, he looks good, man. This is like comic book accurate. So
that's what I like.
Yeah,
obviously we've been watching the Winter Soldier and Falcon. Yeah, and I love the accuracy to the comic books in terms of the attire. That for me is just a tick.
No, of course, definitely. That was like, what was your thoughts on that, bro?
Oh, it was very, it's very deep in a sense. Like what they obviously covered in terms of the racial aspects of it was amazing. Like I thought this is actually really, really good. And he's like a black man can't be Captain America. And I understood it's the whole imagery of like, you're a black man. You can't be at the stage of, you can't be at the level where maybe a white person may be. And they kind of refer to the blonde hair, blue eyes. It's like, I can't be the blonde hair, blue eyed guy. And that reflects in society. Sometimes if you're not fitting the criteria a certain industry wants, you're just not in there. Even though you might have the same skill set and the work ethic, reality comes and you don't get in there, sadly enough. And it kind of is very poignant. It
definitely is. It feels like you have to do that extra work to prove that point. And I think that's what Sam did in his journey, that giving the shield back maybe wasn't the right decision, but he had to do double the work to kind of earn it back and say, you know what, I want to protect this shield.
Yeah.
Because somebody got blood on it, and that's what I don't want on it. So,
and I think he handed the shield over for the burden of it. Like he said, like they're always going to look at him as a black guy. You're the black guy. Right. You're not going to fit. And I think that was kind of the way they portrayed that as well was really good. Love it.
Dude, Isaiah Bradley's scene got me, man. I was done.
Oh man, that was so touching. The statue, I was like, I got so surprised. I was like, he came there and he was just overwhelmed with like, they've remembered me now. I
really wanted to see a scene of him when he was younger, having a battle with Winter Soldier and saying that I almost had you. And all I keep thinking is Terry Crews as Isaiah Bradley when he was younger.
I'm thinking the exact same thing. I've seen a lot of like mock-ups going on the internet, and I can see
the
casting as we do,
Yeah,
and I can see. I was like, that'll be a good fit, really good fit.
That's awesome. Really. No, that show really. It's weird because like WandaVision was like that mystical thing, magical thing. Then it went to kind of grounded.
The action pack of just like it was different, big contrast.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Loki to seeing what they do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That's gonna be amazing. I can't wait for
that. So much going on at the moment. So is Batman your favorite character then?
In the DC universe, Batman has to be, because obviously he's the only person with no powers, just gets a suit, he's crafted his martial arts stuff, loads of money. So it's a realistic aspect of it always attracted me to Batman.
That's
and obviously
right.
I love Red Hood. Red Hood's a badass. Like I love that kind of anti-hero, like he's a badass. And I think Green Lantern was always one of my favorites as well. I don't know why. I think it's just the ring, and then obviously like the whole Green Lantern Corps as a whole. I just love the concept of it.
It was like DC's X-Men, basically. It brought a lot of diversity into the characters. That resonated with me as a comic book reader, because X-Men is like my go-to. Like,
who's your favorite X-Men?
Man, always a hard question, but it's always been Wolverine. It's been Wolverine,
Yeah.
But Wolverine's always been, it's because it's short man syndrome, isn't it? It's always been that. It was like, oh man, he's the same height as me. He's almost the same skin tone. That's me, bro.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that.
But you know what? Over the years, Magneto and Professor Xavier became my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Because the more I read into them, and then after finding out later on that they mirrored Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and the way their battles and their struggles were, and they incorporated that into these characters. So Chris Claremont, who wrote most of the X-Men comic books in the 70s and 80s, he put a lot of those histories behind those characters. So the readers like us would be like, "Hey, man, that reminds me of Malcolm X," or Martin Luther. So
it was a really radical kind of way of expressing the same thing Charles Xavier is expressing, just on the radical side of it. Exactly. And it's just crazy. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, so that was my go-to, but I think overall later on Gambit became another favorite of mine as well.
I
He was
grew up
just smooth, man.
Yeah, because I used to watch the cartoons back in the day, and it was just like my guy. Remy was my guy all day.
Remy
Cards
was
coming
really
out,
good.
I was like, yeah.
Remy was really good. So dude, since you started doing, because the type of work that you do now, it's a lot of public speaking, it's a lot of yourself up front there now. Do you still get nervous?
You know what? The recent episode I filmed yesterday.
Yeah.
And I stepped down on one of the episodes because obviously I think we had 4 people on there.
Okay.
I wanted to read out the questions to them. And I got one of my co-hosts to do the introduction, and he had to do it 5 times. He used to always take the piss out of me when I did the introduction. Go, why you get it wrong? Oh my God, it's so easy. And he came up to me afterwards, goes, you know what, Vigga, it's really hard to do the introduction. I said, yeah, it takes a lot, you know? Again, practice makes perfect. When you start doing it a lot more, you're just natural to it. But when I first started speaking, you're thinking, am I saying the right things? How do I sound? And all these stuff, they kind of stutter you projecting yourself in the correct way. And the best way for content, as you probably know, as long as it's just yourself, be who you are, and they accept you or they don't accept you. Everyone's not gonna like you.
That's right. Exactly that. Exactly that. How do you time manage all of the things you do, bro? Because you probably got the 9 to 5 as well, and then doing other work in between. How's that scheduling like for you?
A lot of drink. This is not 5 Live. This is JD and Coke, if anyone asks. No, I think it's, again, I read this quote on it. Said, like, you don't work 8 hours on a job you're not inspired, you're not passionate about, and you go home and you say you ain't got enough time to do what you want to do. That means you're not tired, you're just uninspired, excuse me. And I feel like you just want to do it. Like, imagine like what you're doing now. Like, when I saw your work, I was amazed, dude. I was like, my God, this is amazing. And I've only found 2 artists that I thought, wow, the person who's done my first sketches, and I saw your stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you look at that in a deeper level, like, you made this is your content, this is your kind of like baby in a way, and there's a passion there. And the same way with me, like, I love doing it. So the time aspect of it is hard. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I work 9 to 5, and it's not a role where you can be half-hearted with it. So I'm an account manager, so it's very, very deep and very intense. And so it's, again, you just have to be really inspired for it. Like, anytime I'm here doing videos, I'm here making content, I'm here trying to boost up the brand, because you want it. You have to really want it. I think that's it, really. I think I don't do much on Saturdays apart from socializing, but Monday to Friday work, and then obviously evening times videos. You know how it goes.
No, of course, definitely, man. Without doubt. I was an account manager once as well.
Tense, innit? Intense.
Very intense, very intense. I did it for, hold up, I'm trying to remember. It's about 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
Sorry, man, that's my little girl screaming.
That's all right.
Yeah, 3.5 years. Yeah, 3.5 years, and then I jumped into marketing, and then jumped on the social media bandwagon. I'm a bit late, but
same.
Yeah.
I think it's not the time. I think people buy it from people, personality, self. You know.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna nick that Iron Man helmet behind you. I'm not gonna lie. I've been eyeing that all day. And the Tony Stark part one. That's amazing stuff, man.
Oh man, thank you. That, you know what? Because like, I've been trying to get, this is like me and the wife's studio, so she does like handmade cards and stuff, and then my side is all the artwork stuff. But I was like, I need something to look at and be inspired. So
exactly,
I was gonna put some normal movie posters up, and then it was like, why don't I create something, man? I did it myself. So
exactly,
2 weeks, man. I took some time off social media, and then did some own projects. Got these made up, and got the place looking a bit neat. So yeah, I'm proud of them, man. It's
love
like,
it. I like the color concept you've done with the pictures as well.
No, definitely. I was going for something like minimal, like not too much for the eyes. So when you look in there, but still something kind of like, oh man, that looks awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
So I already know Batman's your favorite in DC. Marvel wise, what's the characters in Marvel, bro?
No doubt, Spider-Man.
Yeah,
no question, Spider-Man.
What is it about Spidey, bro, that captures you?
I think, again, I watched the animated series when I was younger, but I think it's just the whole. Yeah, it was sick, wasn't it? Like,
it was lovely.
I just grew up on the whole Peter Parker vibe, the whole kind of relaxed, but you know, that kind of teenage. He wasn't a teen. I think at the time I started watching him, he was a teenager, but that whole aspect of he was just a relaxed character. How he got his powers. I think it's just his whole aura, the suit as well. I think the suit really play a big part for me. Like
it does.
I love
it does.
The concept. I'm weird like that. I can't explain it. It's just
no, it's good. It's what attracted me to comic books, because you look at these bold costumes, bold colors, and it just works. Like you don't think it'd work, and you're like, oh my god, that costume wouldn't work. Like I was really scared about what they were going to do with Sam's costume in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, because you don't know what it's going to look like on the big screen.
This is it.
What they did with X-Men when it first came out with 20th Century Fox, and they gave them all black suits. It was like, oh man, the reason why I love the X-Men, man, their suits, man. And then they slowly got there.
Yeah, but almost. Deadpool, when I was like, she's wearing the blue and yellow, I was just so excited. I was like, yes, go on, you've done justice now.
And that was it. That was like the major move they made when it came to costumes, and it was like, you know what, this is the route you need to go. But Spidey's one of my favorites. He is one of my favorites. Miles Morales recently has taken over.
That's what I was just about to come on to.
Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse. Oh my god, that blew me away.
That really did. I didn't expect much, but I got a lot out of it. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like this is absolutely. I remember going to the cinema thinking, bring Mrs. along with her as well to watch it. And like, she's, this is actually good. I was like, it's actually fucking amazing. Excuse my language. Yeah. I think
at the end, I teared up, because I was like, oh my god, I got to see a multi-universe Spider-Man movie. You know, we saw it in the cartoons, but the imagery was just like the company that I work for currently. They use their graphics tablets to do most of the animation, because the animation in that movie is unique by itself. It's like almost like a 3D, 2D sort of animation. But I just didn't realize how good it was going to be, because I've always been about visuals. So to see it come to life like that, and then bring new characters to make me fall in love with, you're like, you're tearing me apart here, man. It's getting too emotional right now.
It's crazy. I thought like that with the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't know what to say. I was visually in heaven. And you know what annoyed me with the first one? There were so many things of it. You knew what to fix it and how to make it feel look better visually. It just wasn't done. Like you couldn't rush something like that. You just had to take your time with it.
It's a shame. It is a shame. I mean, with Zack Snyder, he went through that tragic incident with his daughter committing suicide. I think what happened was he actually asked the studio, like, give me like a year to mourn, and I'll come back to the project. Just put it on break. And the studio was like, nah, we'll get somebody else on here. So move along. Which is such a shame. Which is such a shame. And that movie was great, man. That last scene, man. I was like, what? You know what? The first thing was, my reaction was, how the hell did they give us that 2017 version?
I thought the same
The audacity.
Cheeky people, like, you know, they fed us crumbs, bro. They fed us absolute crumbs. I was like,
such a shame. Such a shame. I was absolutely gutted.
More Green Lantern, obviously, appearances in it, but everything else was ticked.
I was gutted because they took that out, because Warner Brothers said that he can't use it because they're doing their HBO special. But the guy they picked, I was like, man, they're going to introduce me Jon Stewart in this movie. And they didn't do it. Like, you would have topped it all off, to be honest.
I think,
Warner Brothers are getting it at the moment. Yeah. They've been getting it at the moment. The fans, it is weird, because this is the first time in history we get to see something like this, where the fans were like, nah, man, you guys messed up. Like, I want the original cut. I want this guy to come finish this film off, because his visuals, you know, couldn't compare to what Josh Whedon did. But I don't blame Josh, because, again, that's studio interference, isn't it?
Yeah.
100%. He was just doing the job, and it's really hard, because I see it in a way where every artist has a moment where they're being controlled by something. Yeah. You know, if you sign a contract, then you're legally bound to that contract. So if you're jumping on a project halfway finished, you're going to have to finish it the way the studio wants it, because now they want to do something, you know, I hate comparing it to Marvel. Make it kiddie, make it friendly, make it colorful. But if you look at some of Marvel's stuff, they're not all colorful and kid friendly. Like, some of them are quite dark. So
and DC's hella dark. Like, it's like you can't very dark concepts.
But I still loved the Zack Snyder's Justice League, man. That was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Gosh.
I couldn't have asked for more. It went by so it didn't feel like 4 hours.
No, it didn't. It didn't. To be fair, I was like, I needed more. More.
Exactly.
Was you surprised by the Martian Manhunter?
Martian Manhunter. Yeah. Now, you know what the thing is, when Batman v Superman came out, I think you're looking at 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
I originally said that guy is Martian Manhunter.
Did you say no way?
Yeah, I predicted it with my brother. I told him that's Martian Manhunter for some reason, because he said something to Lois in Batman v Superman when she gave him the bullet.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, man, this guy's he's throwing off some weird vibes, man. That's Martian Manhunter. And then later on, Zack Snyder confirmed a couple of years ago on his Twitter saying it was Martian Manhunter, but we couldn't put it into the film because Joss Whedon had taken over it. And then they did it in this one, and I was like, oh my God. It was satisfying, man. It was like you're seeing... 100%. Again, he's one of my favorite characters from the DC universe as the Justice League. Yeah. He has a really weird sense of humor to some of the stuff that he does. And he's always late to the show. He's always late to the show. So it was great to see that addition on there. But I would have wanted Green Lantern.
Same.
I would have wanted John. And the thing is, it's filmed. So I've got a funny feeling he'll leak it.
You think?
Because he's with Netflix now. Netflix are throwing money at him. So I don't think he'll ever go back to Warner Brothers ever again. Unless HBO, because it's under a different corporation, unless HBO gives him money to do like 2 and 3, then he won't work with Warner Brothers ever again.
I don't think. Yeah, you're right.
Because he's a guy who works, and as artists ourselves, you know when you've got creative control over something yourself, you can work with it more freely, innit? And way better. Yeah. So having somebody else kind of pulling the strings is quite difficult.
Massively.
So I did have another question for you. So I know that. So is there any favorite characters that if you had superpowers, which one would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, wow. I used to think about this all the time. I can never pinpoint it to one. It's the problem. I could never. And that's the hard bit of this question.
That's right, man. You can pick several. The thing is, I never narrow it down to one because I keep saying, you know what? I want healing powers, but then I want Gambit's kinetic energy powers. But then that is almost like Bishop's powers. So I was like, exactly. If I can get healing powers and somehow burst out some kinetic energy, that's me.
I'll just have healing. Just healing powers.
Yeah, healing would be good.
Crazy stuff like Deadpool, Wolverine, like, slice up a hand and, just come back. You wouldn't really be scared of anything, would you? You'd just be throwing yourself into fire and everything.
But being immortal, bro, the burdens you carry for being immortal, that's one thing that saddens me about Wolverine's story.
Yeah, just his soul was drained at the end. Obviously, when I watched what's the film called? I forgot they called it now.
Logan.
Yes, Logan. Yeah.
He was drained, man.
Emotionally, he was just done, wasn't he? Really?
Yeah.
And he's seen that portrayed in the film. I was like, oh man. And it's hard to, as a fan of Wolverine fan, an X-Men fan, to digest that. I was like, oh man, this is sad.
It was definitely. It was like
it's like now seeing the Undertaker wrestle. That's how I feel. I feel sad because he shouldn't be doing it. He shouldn't. It's like that.
When did he come back?
Exactly. He's done now. I think he's officially done. But don't put it past him. He'll just come back. You know how Undertaker is, isn't it?
Oh, brilliant. I thought he was done ages ago.
Only a year ago he retired. Only a year ago. He's still been at it.
That's brilliant. Well, passion, bro, man. Because, it's the main thing that we talk about on here is passion. And it was like, I see all of these old school actors coming back because like Carl Weathers, who was Apollo Creed and Rocky series. To see him come back and he directed a couple of the Mandalorian shows and see him in the Mandalorian. Man, I was just filled with joy. And it's one of those bridging the generation gaps, because when me and my dad go to watch something, that's something that kind of says, you know what, Arnold is still making movies. We could go watch an Arnold movie or a Stallone movie. And when I tell him, like, Carl Weathers is back, and he's like, the guy from Action Jackson, I was like, yeah. He's like, let's watch it. So I'm like, you know, that it does bridge the gap between.
Right,
I mean, cinema was massive with my dad, so that came on to me, pop culture. So that's the one thing we still do now. So if I tell him like there's a new like Creed movie or Rocky movie coming out, he's bang on it, man. He's like, make sure you get front row seats. So it's nice to have that dynamic.
Yeah, I remember like my dad used to put him on the tape, Rocky this, and I used to watch him. I think stuff like just the memories of it, like that kind of, we'll never get that kind of feel back again.
Well, I don't know. Creed gave it back to me. I think Michael B. Jordan taking it. Yeah, I it's only because it's weird because he's created his own universe, hasn't
he? Yeah.
That's like the Rocky universe. But I think maybe not Creed 2, but the first Creed, it gave me that feeling back again. So I'm interested to see what Michael B. Jordan does for number 3. I heard Stallone's not going to be in it, and he's going to take it a different direction. So he's going to make the character grow a bit. And I think it's time for Stallone to kind of leave that role behind. He's done his part. Like as much as I love Rocky,
Terminator, it's one of those ones. He just has to do it. You need that comfortability of him being there.
I know. You know what? That's what he gave to him in the first one. In the second one, my only thing was that was more of a money grab.
Of course.
To bring back like Drago and all of them characters back. It didn't have the heart that Ryan Coogler brought to the original first one. I think Ryan Coogler is an amazing director because there were some scenes in there that he shot like in one shot without the scenes breaking. And I love stuff like that. So we didn't get that in the second one. And I was like, it's not as intense and you didn't get me in that mode, but bloody hell, his work ethics, man, it's absolutely awesome, bro.
Crazy.
Absolutely awesome. So, dude, I just wanted to say as well, so what else you working on at the moment that you're looking forward to and excited? Not like stuff that you want to, no spoiler alerts, but you know, like
I'm
always future projects.
Yeah, I'm working on the EP now, which
nice.
So you've helped do part of the artwork to it. So you know, so thank you again, brother.
You're welcome.
And I'm gonna try and introduce another show with the boys. I was gonna try to do something separate, and I was gonna try to do another show separately. So that's the kind of stuff we're working in the pipeline. But yeah, like a lot of amazing stuff. We just shot season 2 of Pipe Bomb Session. Nice. So season 2 is gonna be out in 3 weeks' time. Yeah, 3 weeks' time. A lot more fun packed, a lot more diversity, a lot more questions being asked, a lot more craziness, basically. Someone messaged me today, like, I love the fact that it's serious, but then you still have a joke at the same time. I'm like, well, I think that,
it plays a part. I mean, it's give and take, isn't it? On how far you can push it as well. So it's like, there are situations where, yes, it may not be appropriate to laugh, but if you've got it in the right contents, like you guys have, because it's between friends as well. I feel like it helps, and as long as the guest is okay with it, then they're not thrown off in the middle of an interview thinking, "Why are these guys busting up at me for, man?" And so, as long as the guests play their part, that I think that's really important. But from what I've seen so far, man, you guys vibe off so well, and it's a great show, and I can't wait to see more of it. So, guys, you heard it, man. Season 2 coming out soon. Looking forward to this. Oh my God. Awesome.
Describe, like, do all that fancy stuff, you know.
Help. It's so important, guys. Engagement, because I realized over the past couple of years and since I started marketing, that engagement plays a big part. And even if you just drop a comment saying, you know, I love this, plays a big part on the views and engagement on everything else. So everybody show some love and support. It's the main part. That's I want to see more of you, bro. Definitely, man. I'm looking forward to seeing more of your projects as well. And then in the future, let's see, man, if we could do something as well. I'm happy to jump on more podcasts.
More
but you
welcome.
Said you were into Star Wars as well, bro.
Massive into Star Wars. I'm massively into the Jedi concept. I'm massively, like, I loved Mandalorian. Amazing. Yeah. When Luke came up at the end, anyone who's not watched it, it's not really a spoiler, because if you've not watched it, you shouldn't be on this kind of platform, number one. So it's not a spoiler. But when Luke came at the end, amazing. I was like charged up. I was like, oh my God. Like, like in wrestling, when like a superstar comes back from a long way and you hear the music hit, it was just like that. I was like, oh my God, it's Luke Skywalker. He started like taking off the droids, and the lightsaber started flicking. I was just like,
you know what? It was a hard one to believe at first, but as soon as I saw the X-Wing, I knew it was Luke.
Yeah.
When it came through, and I was like, X-wing, and
Yeah.
they said only one X-wing, and I'm like, that's Luke, man.
It's quite
Why you
obvious.
Disney pulling on my heartstrings, man? What you playing at? Like, I went from sitting down to slowly, like, kind of like, no, it's like a slow walk, like a zombie towards the TV, and my wife was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then I was screaming because when I saw the green lightsaber, I was like,
"Oh God."
What, like they did that so perfectly, because I'm not sure, are you a fan of the ones that came out, the last three?
Yeah, I like the last one because they kind of died. I didn't like what they done with Palpatine though, man. I think the role he played at the end was neat. I said they didn't really expand on that. I was like, and
I feel like the studio did rush him on that one, and to like after the lash, the backlash they got on The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a bad movie. I just feel like they were going in a different direction.
Yeah.
The problem is like, yes, there's some, this is like toxic fans who can't accept moving forward.
No, they just want that stagnancy.
And don't get me wrong, like we live in a time now where I get to see some of my favorite things on TV, in cinema, in books, and it's grown massively as a medium as well. So I kind of feel like we've been a bit spoiled, but I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, just take my money, man. Just take it. You know, I'm into this all day long. Just take it. You know what I mean? So the backlash and the toxic fans of that, and then the studio kind of was like, all right, let's turn this around and see what we can do for the third one. The Palpatine one killed it for me, because I was like, how did they use him in that weak story, man?
It's just not what needed. Like, I was like, okay. I was like, and he's just like, I was like, oh, the dying and the force as well. They introduced some new concepts. I was like, I've never heard that.
It was different. That was the hardest part, because it was like, you could have eased us into that, but they didn't.
They didn't. It's like, at the end, basically, what they did, they cramped their head. Palpatine's alive, by the way, guys. And there's a new concept called the dying and the force, guys. Just take it in quickly. And, you know, I was like, oh, cheers. Thanks.
But yeah, no, the Jedi concept, I absolutely love. I love how they are. It's something that's been stuck with me for years. It's weird because you get all of these little pop culture things that kind of, you think that they were going to die off, and it was just like how music is. Like, for me, I played a big part of music in my mid-20s when I was touring with an artist named Archer. And I did his photography, I did his graphics. I loved UK hip-hop, UK grime at that time. And then...
Did he pass away, this Archer guy?
No, that was Ty.
Oh, my bad.
Ty passed away last year for COVID. But they were all good friends. Yeah, they were in the same crew. And so basically, Archer is an artist. I think it was called the One Crew, and it was with Sway and Pirelli and all them guys.
Yeah.
And I got to work with Archer later on after, through a mutual friend. And music's deep within the work that I do as well, whether it's hip hop, grime, or soundtracks for movies. It's something that's always been stuck with me. And I feel like I learned a good work ethic with that as well, because I realized for me personally, when it came to UK hip hop, he's one of my favorite artists, and I've seen him in the booth, man, and I love musicians in the booth. When I see you guys spit bars, I'm like, oh man, how do you contain all of those lyrics in your head?
When you're doing a feature and you're doing a feature and you go to the booth, you've written your 16 bar, now you're like, yep, I'm happy with this. And obviously I don't know what the 16 bar, probably the feature artist wrote. Someone's go in the booth, you do your thing, and he writes a 5/16, you think, fuck man, you've outclassed me on my song. Why have you done this to me? But you're happy because it's your song, but you're like, oh man.
It happens. I've seen it happen so many times. And it's weird because, like, for me, hip hop, that was how I was introduced to different artists. So like when I was listening to, what was it? It was Method and Redman. They did 4 3 2 1, and then Cannabis was on that. And I was like, hold up, this dude, how is he dropping these bars, man? And like, you know, LL Cool J was on there, DMX was on there, but for some reason, Cannabis, his lyrics just touched me, man.
Yeah.
I became a big fan that way. And then I think it was DJ Funkmaster Flex, and he had a track with Big Punisher. I can't remember it had Big Pun, Noriega, some other characters on there as musicians on there as well. And Big Punisher again for me. I was like, wow, this dude blew me away.
It's not Glory, is it?
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, it's Glory, man.
That is crazy. Like, my favorite rap's on there, Cameron. I'm a big Cameron fan.
Cameron. He was just, again, laid back, chilled. I loved the way his lyrical flow was as well.
That's the way it was. It's just nonsensical, some of it. It's just,
yeah.
You know, it's just great. I love that.
It was really, really, really good. But, I mean, that's that music that stuck with my heart. You know what I mean? So, I mean, hearing the tragic loss of DMX last week, the week before, man, that was hurtful, man.
Yeah, we grew up on that stuff, like, you know, and I know lyrics word for word because obviously we grew up in the same era, so you could feel what they were saying and you could relate to it at the same time.
That's
so
right.
You could, like, when it used to be charged up, you do my press ups, like, oh, you know, it used to be charged up, you know, but yeah, that kind of era is sad because it's a dying era.
Yeah.
Compared to what we have now in terms of music, the consumption is completely different. Like, I used to go on LimeWire days and like have loads of hip hop.
Oh my god, LimeWire!
Yeah, everyone just had bars, and like you could go to your DMXs, your Redman, your Method Man. You know, it's just Dre's, your Eminems, you know, it's just the list was too much.
No, of course, and I think music evolution has changed dramatically as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s hip hops it's like stuck with me. Like my wife is like, why don't you get rid of those CDs? You got them on MP3 and on your phone. No. Do you know how much that cost me back then?
Yeah, some of the tunes you just can't find on Apple Music or Spotify.
No, you can't. I think here's one. See if you remember this. This was The Firm with Foxy Brown, Nas, and Nature.
Yes.
So you can't get them on Amazon or Apple Music. So I pull out the CD and she was like, right, this is old. And I'm like, I know it's old because they know nobody's got it online. But they've got a track on there with Cannabis called Desperado, which is such a big track. And it's like, it was the first track I played in my first car. And I remember it because it had such a sick B line. Yeah, and then it had this kind of Mexican ring to the track, and the way Nas drops his lyrics on there, I'm like, oh my god, this is it.
Yeah.
Really good. But dude, I'm not going to keep you any further. I just want to say a massive thank you for joining me on the podcast, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, make sure you check the links below. This is on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Deezer, SoundCloud. Guys, all the links are in the description. Make sure if you are listening to us,
show love, subscribe, and my followers, anyone watching, any ViggaVTV fans, make sure you show love and subscribe, follow.
Yes, so you guys will be able to watch us on YouTube as well if you want to see our pretty faces. But if you're on the go, make sure you check it out. Type in the Brothers Geek Out podcast, ViggaV episode. It'll be on all platforms. So without a doubt, you guys will be on there. Make sure you check him out on Instagram as well, guys. ViggaVTV. Check that out. Click on that follow button. And Viggo, massive thank you again for joining me, man. Thank you for the time. And I'm very excited to get you back on the show again, bro.
I'm excited to give you my show finally, you know, in the nicest lines than ever, you know.
Awesome. That'd be great. But massive thank you, man.